Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to Season 7 DPR. Welcome back to Austria for the first race of the season. Here we can immediately see Dixie going into his fast lap and aborting it. Probably had a little bit of an oversteer moment there. So yeah, I just did a couple of sound checks, that's why I was kind of late into starting the commentary there. So we have a couple of drivers out on track currently. Let me check. There we go. There is the second camera. So welcome back to DPR, everybody. Season 7, first race of the season, Division 1. So Division 1 will be racing on the Mondays, Division 2 on the Tuesdays, and then we have a new division for the Formula 2 cars, which will be racing on the Wednesdays. We have a couple of new faces. For example, here, Mr. Dixie. He is new this season as a reserve driver. A lot of old familiar faces as well, but we'll see how it goes. Just let me just quickly share this screen here. All right. So here we can see him starting his fast lap. Oh, he actually already set the fast lap, probably because it was the first one over the line. Oh, that was quite the oversteer moment. He had that on his warm-up lap too. I think he doesn't have a good setup yet, but that's just speculation. Don't know that for sure, of course. So let's see if we have any other drivers currently out on a fast lap. I think one of the Red Bulls is actually out already. Let me check. I think it is. Yes, it is Bak. A return player here with DPR. I believe he was in Division 1 last year as well, or Division 2, not quite sure. But he is racing in Division 1 as a full-time driver this year. So let's see how he does this last sector. It's quite a tricky turn, this one. Here you have to brake at the exact right point in order to not mess up this corner, which will give you a optimal exit here. As you can see, he didn't quite reach the exit curb. Still setting a lap of a 1.7239, though pretty good for a fast lap on the softs in Q1. Well, not Q1 because we have a short qualifying, of course, but still. Let's check how the other drivers are doing. So Dixie went into the pits here. We have Sami also going into the pits. And let's see what Wiggy is doing here. Wiggy is on a fast lap, looks like. As you can see, fully optimizing that corner. And on the exit, he will have a 1.9054, which will put him into third place for now. Andre expecting Thomas to DNF because of the setup. Amazing. Well, we'll see. Yeah, so Dixie in the Discord chat complaining about his level of grip. He probably wants to do a bit more with those wings, kind of set them up a bit higher. And I believe somebody spun in one of the last turns here. I believe that was, I think that's Webshot? Or was that Lynx? Not quite sure. Anyway, here we have a lot of drivers now on their fast laps. Looks like Sizzle is about to complete his, and he goes fastest with a 1.6003. A very nice lap indeed. Looks like Wiggy's also completing another fast lap here. Let's see how he does. Coming out of the last corner with a 1.6. And that'll put him into fourth position. And Dixie retired from the session. Not quite sure what happened there. Let's see if we can get a driver's POV. Looks like he hit that barrier there. Unfortunately, we can't switch to his view because he DNF'd. But yeah, that is unfortunate. So that means he will probably be starting last from the grid. Nothing really you can do about that. Let's see here. Yeah, as you can see here, probably got a bit too happy on the throttle and caused him to spin and hit the wall there. At least that's what I'm assuming would be logical in that situation. But We have a Mercedes going into the pits there. Wiggy actually causing yellow flags. Not quite sure if that's because of his speed or if there's something broken on his car. I don't see any damage, but of course I can't be quite sure. Not quite sure what is going on there, but yeah, I guess we'll figure that out. If he goes into the pits, then we'll know for sure what's going on here. Alright, not going into the pits. So I assume he's going to start a new fast lap here. No, not that as well. Alright, well, be interested to see what he does. Meanwhile, we have, looks to be Balboa setting a time of just 9/10 slower than Lynx here with the 1:47. And it looks like Balboa actually invalidated his lap, as you can see in the bottom right from that red track. So let's go and take a look at, I believe that is Mate Gabrovchek. I'm not quite sure how to say that. I will be butchering everybody's names in the beginning, that's for sure. Sorry in advance, everybody. So yeah, I'll be interested to see what kind of lap he does. He is one of our admins as well. Looks like he's going to let Balboa pass, probably aborting his fast lap. I'm not quite sure why. Let's see what else is going on here. We'll go with one of the Ferraris, why not? Like Sumi is on an outlap warming up his tires, and so is Ambu Mason. Ambu Mason being one of the Mercedes drivers last year, now switching to Ferrari. Interested to see how he does in the new car. Of course, we are on the equal engine setting for the lobbies, but of course they are slightly different in wheelbase lengths, stuff like that. So I'll be interested to see how he does. Looks like he's going very wide in turn 1 here. Probably not getting on the brakes fast enough. Let's see how Wiggy is doing. Yeah, so he's going into the pits. He realized something's off, probably. Not quite sure why. Looks like he's racing with the controller, so maybe he just had a little bit of a steering problem there. Oh, and we have somebody off in turn 1. That is Anbu Mason. As we saw in turn 1 there, he already went wide, and here in, I believe that's turn 2 or turn 3, not quite sure, went wide again, causing him to get in the little gravel pit there. Still hasn't set a lap, so if he completes his lap, it'll at least get him on the board. That was my strategy, at least. If I kind of fucked up my lap but still had a pretty good time, then I would always just kind of complete the lap so I at least have a time. So that if we get, like, for example, yellow flags, we can always just use that lap, and we at least won't start last, kind of. So looks like Ambu is, I don't know if he's letting him go by or if he's just running wide again. I believe we have the Red Bull starting a new fastest lap here. So the times on the board are pretty diverse here. We're looking at a gap of about, effectively about 3 to 4 seconds. We have Anzer Klopčić with a 19-second gap to the leader. So he probably didn't set a proper fast lap yet. And we have Bak with a little oversteer moment here. Interested to see how he does with one of the old timers. And it looks like Wiggy is still in the pits. We have a Haas coming out, which I believe is going to be Balboa. That is. Let's go back to the Red Bull driver here. Interested to see how he does. So coming up to this turn now, again, a very difficult turn to master. You have to brake exactly right. As you can see, they're fully optimizing that curb. Here on the inside, oh, that is a mistake on my end, my bad. And he comes across the line with a 1:7.846, beautiful lap. It's only a 2-second gap. I believe it was 1 second slower than his fastest lap, so that will not put him up any places. And let's see who else is doing the lap here. I believe Lynx just completed another lap, which was 1/1000th of a second slower than his previous lap. Wow. And immediately going into turn 1 with a little bit of oversteer there. I believe Sizzle here coming out of turn 2 or turn 3. Kind of scrolling through the drivers here, seeing who's on track. I believe Balboa is starting his fastest lap. Let's follow him a while. And there he goes into turn 1. Let me actually pull up a track map on my second screen so I don't mess up any of the corner names. Let me just check that out here. Yeah, so that is actually turn 3 there. That little kink in the straight in the bottom left there. That's actually turn 2. So that's interesting. So I have a track map now on my second screen, which will probably help. Alrighty. Hey Kieran, how you good? You good to see DPR back? Yes, my man, same. And there goes Balboa across line with a 1.5229, which is just over 3/10 faster than this previous lap, which will put him up to second place. And, ooh, going into oversteer, and he saves it. Wow. That is one hell of a recovery there by Balboa. Going into the grass there a little bit, but not quite too much. Is a beautiful moment there. Alrighty, let's see what else we got going on here. Looks like Summy is still in the pits, and we only have just over 4.5 minutes remaining. Looks like the Red Bull is on a fast lap again, and Wiggy is out again. Is about a 2.1 second gap away from the leader, and yeah, he needs to get his time up in order to stay in the top 10 probably. 11 through 14 are still either in the pits or out. Looks like Burak is now starting his fastest lap. We'll see how he does here. So yeah, this little kink we're coming out to here, onto the left, goes uphill. That is actually turn 2. So this is turn 2. Going into turn 3 here, braking zone with the DRS detection point, which will be key in the race. Kind of be gentle on the throttle here, make sure you don't spin and hit the wall on the right side there, which is a very common thing to do. Here into, I believe this is turn 4. You can put your wheels over the curb there. Oh, and he invalidated his lap. Unfortunate. We'll still watch him though. I believe he is one of the reserve drivers we have today. As you can see, fully optimizing those curves, making sure to stay, well, not this lap, but making sure to stay just in between the lines. And that is absolutely beautiful corner work by Burak. I believe he's going to start another fast lap, and that was actually a 1.5577, so that would have definitely put him up, I believe, in 4th, 5th, or 6th. Not quite sure. So let's see here. We have Anbu Mason again going out. Still hasn't set a fastest lap. We'll see how he does. As you can see here, going into that turn 9, and here is turn 10, the last corner. Not quite fully optimizing that outside curve there, but that is fine because it's going to be a 1.7179, which will put him up in 12th position. This is quite different from our Anbu Mason here. This is one of the, I believe he was the top 1 or top 2 drivers from last year. And we'll see how they do. Oh, and he spun into turn 3 there. As you can see, that is what I meant with going on the throttle a bit gently. Make sure you don't spin there. Of course, because it's also like slightly banked inside, it'll be really hard. But that is a very common thing to do. Ooh, that is quite the gap he left there. That was Matej Gabrovic. Hope I say that right. Yeah, if you're in that situation where you're on the inside of the corner, but you're kind of like stuck there, that's a tricky place to be. And it looks like we have a spin from Balboa. As you can see there, going into that right-hand wall just out of turn 1. Probably had a bit of oversteer and then just couldn't correct it. Yeah, now he doesn't have any front end grip anymore. So yeah, he's going to have to be very careful on the throttle and make it back to the pits. Meanwhile, we have another spin from one of the Red Bulls. I believe that is going to be Bogbach. Not quite sure why he's on the side of the track. They're probably just letting a couple of drivers by, making sure he has enough space to start his fast lap. Meanwhile, oh, Burak is actually out. I didn't notice that. Burak is out of the session, people. No idea where he went. Apologize for missing that. And we have Sizzle out of the session. Not quite sure why that is. Looks like he is still driving. That is very interesting. Maybe he had an engine problem, and Anbu Mason also retiring. Is that because the time is up, or? I'm not quite sure. Can't see because of the yellow flags there. Can't see if you have any time left. Yeah, we do. We have a... he probably just retired early because, you know, couldn't get another lap in. Yeah, they're all retiring early. All right. So, yeah, it looks like we have Thomas Frost there. Sizzle retired on the track. That's not an appropriate place to retire the car there. But, yeah, that can be reviewed afterwards. Looks like we have a couple of drivers still doing their fast laps here. We have Webshot. Didn't surpass his previous fastest lap.